I'm going to take a different angle today because some of you have seen me already. How many people have seen me present already? Okay, so a completely different angle. Very important. But people who haven't seen me yet, still going to be okay. I not only work at the University of Manitoba, which is dead center of North America, literally. Put your finger in the belly button, that's where I live. However, I also live in Montreal 7 days of every month. The people I get to work with are the circus people. And so at Cirque du Soleil, we have 25 shows worldwide, and it was about $1.8 billion per year they make. And the training facility for Cirque du Soleil is the National Circus School. They're unrelated, but related. You may ask, why am I talking about circus at a physical literacy conference? Because I study them because they are the most physically literate people on the face of the planet. The best representation of physical literacy that we have. They are also the only group in the world that stay active for life as a group. Sport doesn't do that. Military doesn't do that. They're the only ones. Our oldest performers are 87 years old on stage. Our youngest are around 6. This is Montreal. We have Cirque du Soleil right over there. About 5,000 employees. It's quite a number. Across the street from Cirque du Soleil, literally across the street, is the Circus School. We have a residence there, and we have our own circus theater. It's all within one block. The Circus School is interesting because at the Circus School, we try to find people like this. And the interesting thing about that is that 6,000 people from around the world, who are all professional circus artists already, apply to come to this school, and we only take 25. So it's pretty elitist. It is extremely elitist. 99% of the people that go to this school become professional circus artists. The top hockey schools in the world get at best 0.5%. That's cool. So many of the different high-performance sports come to learn from us about it. And we always say, how do you do this better? Physical literacy. So this is the Circus School. That's the outside. Here's a typical classroom. It's another classroom. It's another classroom. You can see the fun happening here. See the trampoline right there? You can actually jump from the 7th floor, which is 2 times the height of this, which we do 7 floors, and drop onto the trampoline. There's another classroom. Another classroom. Why I'm showing you this is that each one of those people is not a dancer, not a one of them. We have 7 ballet teachers at circus, at just this school. And why I show you that is if one of those people is a juggler, they come and they're really good at juggling. They train 40 hours a week for 3 years, these guys. Only 9 of the hours, just 9, are their specialty. This is a big deal. 9 hours of 40. If you're a juggler, you only do 9 hours a week. The remainder, you do dance, you do acrobatics, you do clowning, you do trampoline, you do other skills. So physical literacy is getting a whole bunch of different movement skills from a whole bunch of different areas. And that's why they are specialized, and there's nothing wrong with that word. They love what they do their specialty, but they're also diversified. They're not over-specialized, that's wrong. Why would you stop a child from doing what they love? We don't. Specialize, yay, but also diversify. That's physical literacy. And that's a really important distinction to make. Specialization is not evil. Over-specialization and doing nothing else has some negative consequences. The other thing that these guys do really well in circus is they learn how to connect to people because they're artists. Artists use their movement in circus to communicate with you. So they learn how to communicate through movement. But don't you think that's important in life for everybody? Maybe not at that level. I communicate with people. Hi, how are you? Yeah, what are you doing tonight? Yeah, I think you got a sore throat. So we're not touching. But there's ways of communicating. And interesting enough, communication is also done by the body. And in many of our programs, we forget about that. Reading body language is part of physical literacy. I'm going to show you a little video of some of our folks. Apropos of what's about to happen, perhaps. But here is one of our performers. And I've asked him, he's putting a vest on. And it's sending me his heart rate, all his movement characteristics. And I've asked him to show me all his moves. He's not doing a show. He's just showing me his vocabulary, his repertoire of movements. And this is pretty cool. He's able to do some pretty neat balancing here. And he only started this 3 years ago. So this to me, watch this. Oh, he's getting applause. I'm not. And I'm not making fun of it. I walk on my feet all the time and I'm doing this. But he has to learn, because he's on his hands, to use his feet to balance, just like I used my hands. To me, this is not special. This is just time. It is just time. You want to learn how to do this? I will teach you this. It'll only take you 3 years and 40 hours a week. But most of you won't give me that. I've got a family. I got to work. But almost anybody in this room is capable of many of these things. If I put one of these little wires in a kindergarten class, and every time you walk into class, you walk on one of these this far off the ground, why wouldn't you want that? They can even, at the end of kindergarten, you can walk backwards on one of them this high off the ground. That's pretty cool. But it's really no different than this. It's just time on task. You're not impressed by what I just did, but that's cool. He knows how to use his feet as his arms. Okay, he took a long time to do that. But in the end of the day, he'll maybe do some other things here. I'll see if he can get to it. I'm actually measuring his stress while he's doing this. But in the end of the day, he's a performer. You can see that. And now he's going to do one other thing, and I'm going to make a point about circus. He's going to swing the slack wire back and forth, which is already pretty cool. But one of the things he's going to do here is he's going to fall off. And he normally does this 55 feet off the ground, 20 meters off the ground, without safety. He'll fall off, and you'll see him get back on like that, with no dejection. If you're in circus, it's not if you're going to fail, it's when you're going to fail. And all of our performers are very good at learning that failure is part of success. And how do you deal with it? And this is a very vitally important. Right back up, boom. And you don't see any concern on his face whatsoever. The show goes on. But our children, failure, paralyzed. Then they get angry and they hold it for the next play or hold it for the next moment. Washing that away is part of physical literacy. How do you wash away this? And that's pretty tough, but pretty cool. Human potential is a very interesting thing. I study these people, and this is before circus. This is some data from my lab. Those 7 people on top are 21 years old. And those bones right there, that number 1 person on the top, that's a slice through this bone. the femur. And these are 21-year-olds, young adults, who take very few steps, 3,500 steps a day. That's not a lot of steps a day, but every day. Person 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. See on the bottom? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Those people on the bottom do 15,000 steps a day, every day. That's a lot. I'm at 4,010 right now for the day. You can see the difference between the bones. Activity and good nutrition makes good bones. You can see that. You don't need to be a scientist to read those bones. But here's something very interesting. I was told in medical school that after I was 30, my bones were going to go away. They told me that. I was like, I'm angry. I don't believe that. I've been active all my life. My bones go away after 30? So I said, who can I study that stays active for life? So this is one of our shows. It's called Curios. It's a tent show. It's pretty cool. This is called Bankin, where we throw people around. So these people over here, right there, you know what they are? They're porters. They're big Russian dudes. And they toss the person, literally, from here until the exit sign. She's being thrown by them. She's going to do some stuff in the air. See these two dudes over here? They're going to cross their hands like that, catch her, throw her right away. Pretty fun. We can do that later. After beer fika. So the people in the air are called flyers. The people chucking them are called porters. There's two female flyers. They're right there. They're both look-alike. They're picked to look alike. The girl on the left, when she joined the circus, was from USA Gymnastics. She was 19 years of age. She's 22-ish now. And she does double twisting, double backs, lands on hand, does all this stuff. The person on the right, that side, does exactly the same things as the 19-year-old when they started. And she does all the things that the 19-year-old does, and she now is 58. That's the same age as me. Her husband is right there, kind of like that. He's 62. He gets to throw his wife around for a job. Isn't that fun? What do you do for a living? I throw my wife around. Well, let's phone the police. But this is interesting. So I said, wow, you've been doing this all your life? From 6 years old to 58? Yes. Okay. So every single one of the performers, I measure their bone density because of this. 1,400 performers. And here's what we found out. This is what Osteoporosis Society of Sweden will tell you. This is what Osteoporosis Society of Canada will tell you. And this is what Osteoporosis Society of the United States will tell you. As you grow, the amount of bone you get will increase. Makes sense? Little tiny baby, taller, makes a lot of sense. However, in the United States and in Canada, our physical activity when we're young, only 50% or less of our children are active. Once they go through puberty, less than 5% are active. You get your growth spurt, which is about that much. 25% of your bone mass is laid down, and the kids are going from 50% activity to less than 5. Oops. So really active kids when they're younger, those lines will be way up there. Really inactive kids, the bones will be way down here. I just showed you that. But then, what you see here is that the boys' bones decrease 1% per year. girls' bones 2% to 4% per year. That's normal, doesn't mean good, normal in the United States and Canada. So those are normal. And I said, I don't believe that, because we've never measured a person who's been active for life. Never. That's a guess based on normal. And normal isn't healthy anymore. So I said, I don't believe you. All 1,400 circus people, get on the bone scanner. Now. And this is what we found. I took out the people under 20, and I took the people over 65 out, because they were mostly musicians. And each dot is a person. The girls are in blue, and the boys are in green. And I've gone from 20 years of age roughly to 65. And what do you see? You should see, that from 20 to almost 65, the girls are actually almost look like they're going up, but it's actually flat. They don't lose bone mass with age. I go, yay! Cool. Is it because they're circus people? Or is it because they're active people? Don't know, but I'll tell you. The boys, the same thing. Keep their bones, and this is even cooler yet, so the lines through there stay constant. They don't decrease after 30. I normally never show this graph. I'm going to show it to you and see if I can accomplish telling you what this graph tells us. It's messy, but interesting. Let's look. 19 years of age, all the way up to 79. So I now have taken all of the active people in the circus and put them on a graph in groups of ages. The bottom one in blue is how much fat they have on their bodies. And you'll notice that from 19 to 79, there's a small increase in fat mass. It goes from 10% to maybe 15%, which is the 15% is actually 10% lower than most Olympians, just to give you a context on that. Okay, so with age and activity, maybe you get a little more fat. But watch this. This is the beautiful part. See the one in light tan, the middle one? SMM, the brown one in the middle. That stands for how much muscle you have on your body. Skeletal muscle mass. That makes sense. But look at this. From 19 all the way to right here, it stays constant. So I'm 58 right now. I don't have to worry until I'm 79. Well, that's what I think as a person. But isn't that nice to see? So then I said, is it because they're circus freaks? Or is it because this circus is something else? I don't like the word freak for them, but a lot of people say that. And you might be thinking, well, it's because of what? Something special about circus. So remember the vest that that guy was wearing? And it was transmitting me his heart rate. And it was transmitting me how much he was moving during that thing he was doing. Well, all of them are required to wear that vest every single day and even during performances. So I can measure how many minutes of exercise they get a day. I've done that now. Everyone. And you know what the average is? I'm going to tell you a secret. For us, in Sweden, in Canada, the minimum we say for an adult is 150 minutes a week of moderate, vigorous, sweaty mess. For an adult, it's for a child, it's 420, 60 minutes a day, 30 minutes for 5 days. Us, 140, 420. Guess where they are? Guess how many minutes a week they get of exercise? I was astounded. 240. 4 hours a week. 4 hours a week. Isn't that good? Let's make a society where everybody can exercise for 4 hours a week. Don't you want that? Don't you want that? Don't lose your muscle with age, and don't lose your bone with age all the way to 60. All we need to do is exercise, make a society where movement is allowed, independent of your job, to exercise 4 hours a week. I think that's cool. So the other thing I learned from these guys is this, core. I learned that core is not about doing a front plank for 2 minutes. Grim, can you come down here? Just hop right over that. Can you, can you just like go on the carpet here and go sideways and lay down? Yeah. And can you just start doing a front plank? Hey. And so a lot of people in the strength and conditioning world will say to you, hey, let's do a front plank for 2 minutes. And you know what? For sure, keep planking, Grim. You're doing good. For sure, that will improve strength and endurance. I'm pretty sure Grim's not really happy right now. He's a pretty happy guy. And soon, yeah, I can see it happening. See right there, the vein on the side of his neck is starting to pop out. About 30, 40 seconds later. And pretty soon, his eyes aren't going to be friendly anymore. And if I walk in front of him, they're going to be like lasers and cut me in half. This will definitely improve strength and endurance. That's a fitness way of thinking. Physical literacy says that's an interesting thing, but how will this help me in life? If I do this to him, that's interesting because it's fun. He's like, what? You're kicking me. But his brain had to control his trunk while I pushed him around. That's physical literacy thinking. Does that make sense? And so with these guys, they rarely are stationary. So doing this will improve the muscles, but it won't improve the brain. And if you remember what Louise said earlier on today, it's not just getting the brain to control the muscles better, it's about getting a brain that wants to do things. Do you think I'm making him want to exercise right now? Do you think Grim's going like, I'm really enjoying this? You think so? I don't. How are you doing? Is he over 2 minutes yet? Yeah, well, we're almost there. We might as well do it. He's going like, I could keep going, etc. But thanks, Grim. That was really good. I think you made the point. Good job, man. So here is a physical literacy enriched core. This is a guy. We all our core routines go from level 1 to level 14. I design all of them. He's level 8. So he's got pretty good balance, and he's got reasonably good flexibility. It's okay. He's kind of muscular. And you can see his body's jiggling a little bit, but his core is able to take control. That was very difficult to do. Look, he's using his legs again to keep his balance. He's using his core to keep balance. You do 2-minute front plank, it'll help you nothing with that. But he needs to do that for a living. He's a young German boy, 21 years of age. Sasha is his name. And he does this show 6 minutes is long, how long it is. And he gets paid $1,500 US per each show. He does it 10 times a week. He does pretty good. But all he had to do to get that good was spend 40 hours a week for 3 years. Any gymnastics people in the room? There you go. He's one of the only people in the world who can do a quadruple backflip on the floor. That's not even an FIG code. So, and that's his sideline. It's freaky. That's freaky. But what this taught me, I didn't teach them, I now know it, was I can now design core routines that are physical literacy enriched core. You get all this. You get this document. You can do this document. Last night I was doing it with people. We were doing it together, Peter. It was fun. Fantastique. Super bra. Super bra. Level 1 core, level 2 core, level 3 core. This year we're releasing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We won't release higher than that because it's crazy. That Sasha was level 8. So now this is really interesting. See level 1 to level 10 core? It is more about brain training than it is about muscle training. And if you touch one of those pictures, it's a video and shows you what to do. Now, oddly enough, I also put circus in schools in grade 4, 5, and 6. Not circus schools, but in phys ed. We put circus in phys ed. And I went to this school, and I saw my poster up here in the school, and the phys ed teacher had added QRS codes beside each one of the exercises. And I walk into the classroom, the phys ed classroom, and it's a kindergarten class coming in. No joke. The kindergarten kids stream into the classroom, grab an iPad, walk over to this picture, take a picture of one of these. It then loads up the video. They fold the iPad in front of them, kindergarten, and they start doing level 1 core. I come back a few months later, and all the kindergarten kids, because it's fun, are at level 1 core. Kindergarten. And I'm like, okay. Interesting. Fun, enjoyment, interesting movement, not 2 minutes of pain, is an interesting way to get a body that can manage things in life. This is the other thing that circus taught me about physical literacy. This is that show, Curios. It is a real picture in Montreal, Canada. I'm coming to the show to work with the performers, and this young kid is walking. He's not going to get through security. He's walking in. And I stop him right when the security guard comes up. I'm going to work. And I say, hey, you going to go see the show? He said, yeah. He had a very thick Romanian accent. Okay, cool. I didn't know it was Romanian at the time. I now know it. How old are you? He said, I'm 8 years old. I said, cool. Where are your parents? And he says, I don't know. They dropped me 2 hours ago in downtown Montreal. I said, cool. Are you a free-range chicken? He didn't know what I said. I'm not a chicken. So he didn't understand a free-range kid. But he was. And I was like, okay, that's interesting. Oh, they're coming back for when the show's going. The show's about an hour off, maybe 2 hours off. I don't remember exactly. But what was interesting, I actually changed his seats, gave him a little bit better seats, and he went in. And this picture kind of looks like he's entering something, doesn't it? And what circus taught me, and why this picture reminds me of the story, is that if you go into this show, there's 15 different acts in it, one of which you saw, the Bankin act. Anybody who walks through that finds something for themselves. There's always an act for someone. There's always something for everyone. Then we applied circus in schools, and when we do that, and you come into phys ed class, there's always something for everyone. Nobody feels, I don't want to do this. There's always something for everyone. That's inclusion. That's interesting. So this reminds me of how I'm not selling circus. I'm selling the concept that providing a level of challenge to all children in a manner that's interesting to them is a very important thing to do. Otherwise, you turn children off from activities. So this is the circus way. 2004, a guy named Bolton, who's passed away recently, or not a little while ago, he started talking about what are the features of circus. I just want you to look at that. self-individualization. Being an artist. Who am I? What am I here for? Aspiration. Yeah, I'd like to get better. You know how many 8-ball jugglers there are in the world who can do 8 balls at once? Not many. But there's like 20. But they just have to have different ways of doing 8-ball juggles and they have a job. It's not about getting 9 balls. It's about getting 8 balls and doing something different. What do you do with 8 balls? What do you do with 8 balls? So they see talent not as first, second, and third in the world. They see talent as a desire to get better and better and better at something, period. And making it your own. Isn't that what you want for every child? Fun. Oh yeah. Trust. We haven't talked about that today. Trust is a really important thing between people. If you don't trust me, or you don't trust your peers, do you like hanging out with people you don't trust? How do we create trust between a coach and a child? How do we create trust between a teacher and a child? How do we create trust between one child and another? That's part of physical literacy. That's safety. Not just physical safety, but mental and social safety. Constructive risk. Risk to circus people is not negative. Risk is what we do. We love risk. But we're not dangerous idiots. We take all the proper steps to be as safe as adequately possible. We cannot have surplus safety in a circus. Surplus safety stops everything that we do. Stops growth of people. Anybody. Surplus safety will stop human development. Adequate safety allows it to happen with some negative consequences. Hard work. There's a great study that just came out, and I know it just came out because I just reviewed it, by Amanda Visick. I'm going to show you her picture. She is the only person in the world who's actually documented what is fun to children. What is fun? Isn't that a great question? And you know what kids say to us? That hard work is fun. Not hard work like you were doing, Grim, but hard work meaning I'm going to get better at what I do. That's fun to a child. You give me an environment where I can grow, that's fun. So physical literacy is really a journey of going from one place of being physically literate to another, to another, to another. His physical literacy journey is different than hers. And it's really important to understand that when they're young, we have to help them along that journey, go from one thing to another, to another, to another. Like I tell you the story about my daughter, she went from dance to ultimate frisbee to, dance to fitness in a gym, then to ultimate frisbee, then to doing outdoor activities. I helped her from 16 to 25 manage those things as a father. How do you do that in your schools, in your recreation facilities, as a parent, in your community? How are you helping people manage that? Who talks to the kid after they leave basketball? Not everybody plays basketball. Is it a great sport? Absolutely. But after they leave basketball, where do they go next? After they leave gymnastics, where do they go next? 250,000 people do gymnastics in Sweden. It's the highest percentage of people doing gymnastics in the world. That's pretty cool. Almost every single gymnastics studio that opens up in Sweden has a 2-year waiting list for parents to put their kids into gymnastics because they see basic gymnastics as fundamental to life, not because Swedes believe that they're going to create the next artistic gymnast gold medalist or the next rhythmic gymnast gold medalist. They see it as a foundational component of developing confidence and confidence while moving. They wouldn't say, I don't think Swedish people think that way exactly, but they know intrinsically that that's right. So our job is really to steer them away from a sedentary lifestyle and steer them towards not a physically active life, but a physically literate life. Because if I give you physical literacy, you can do whatever you want. And if you remember who Pinocchio is, and I love the fact that you had, who was it that had Pippi Longstockings? Who had Pippi Longstockings in a PowerPoint? I think it was Apostolos. I can't. Peter, you had Pippi. I was liking that. Pippi Longstockings. Well, Pinocchio, when we cut his strings, he could walk and talk and fly, do anything he tries, but never, 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 ever tell a lie. But the game here is that physical literacy is a journey, not a destination. There is no perfect formula I can give you, but we need to steer and help guide people along a pathway of physical literacy, because if you do that, they're more likely to stay active for life. They're more likely, if they leave one part of their life, like hockey, they will then go to something else. I can go from climbing to triathlon. I'll tell you another story. In one of these sessions, I do a thing called the physical literacy journey. We're not doing it today with that paper in front of you. And what was interesting, a person actually was talking about their own personal journey at about 45, 46 years of age. And the mother had lived for her 3 kids. She lived for her kids and not for herself. In Canada and the United States, very common. I'm living for my kids, but not for me, because my kids are everything. I get that. But then she gives up her fitness. She gives up her health. She gains 30, 40, 50 pounds. In this case, she had gained 80. And her son came up to her because her son was worried about the mother's health and did this. Watch this magic in its physical literacy. Mom, here's a pass. It's to a climbing gym. And you know what? The kid said magical words to the mother, and the mother remembers them. Mom, take this pass for the next 3 months and go climbing, but don't say no until 3 months. Mother goes into this climbing facility, never done climbing in her life before, and what happens in that climbing facility? You have a wall of holds. And you know what? There's a wall that's for beginners. And then there's a wall that's a little bit harder, 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 yeah? There's a level of challenge for all levels of ability. Cool. Oh, how do I do this? Oh, I've been climbing for long. Oh, let me help you. I will belay you. I will help you. Oh, try touching that hold. Try touching that hold. Oh, good job. Got that. Oh, yeah, do a crossover there. Confidence is built at the same time as competence. Social connection is always happening. Fun is happening. That's physical literacy. Now watch this. Mom makes it to 3 months, doesn't lose any weight, but gets better. And here's the key. She does 1 complete physical literacy cycle. She gets more competence, then she gets more confidence, then she gets more motivation to keep going. You feel that? She does it for 3 months, and 1 complete cycle at the end of 3 months. I now have spoken to her 3 years later. You know what? She still climbs, now only once a week. But after the end of the 3 months, she had a positive cycle in her head. Recently, she joined triathlon. Then she lost all the weight, which was an important thing for her because she wanted to see her grandkids. Now, that is a perfect example that independent of age, if you set up a positive physical literacy cycle for people, you're setting them up to succeed as opposed to fail. But if you don't think about all the components of that cycle, you're setting up kids to go to the sedentary way. So it's really, we've done these, and I don't want to do these. Well, maybe some people haven't seen them, but I want to cover this one more time. In Canada, obesity has gone from, see the blue dots? Back in 1972, Obesity in Canada was 9%, and now it's at 28% plus. And that's, the blue dots are a perfect straight line, and every country is increasing on that slope. They don't have the same values. The Americans are worse. We're here, you're behind us, but the slope is similar. But what I show you here is that you have to be very careful in a society about promoting physical activity. The red things are how many medals Canadian Olympic athletes got at the Olympics. So back in 1972, Canadians only got 5 medals. In 2014 at London, we had 45 medals. And you see, we got better and better and better at getting medals. And I'm going to say something I almost never say, because I actually shouldn't say this, because my Canadian government gets mad at me for doing this. The number of medals given out back in 1960 was about 400. The number of medals given out in London was over 900. Canadians always get 2% of the medals. We actually never improve. I didn't say that out loud, okay? And you didn't record that on camera. Oh, yes, you did. Yeah, thanks. But why I show you that is that if you look at medal count per year versus obesity, it's a perfect relationship. And literally, we did this for our Canadian athletes because they're not allowed to say this on camera anymore. They can't say, I'm inspiring Canadians to be physically active. Because they're not. They're inspiring future Olympians. There's no doubt about that. But worse yet, by being so good at what they do and having coverage everywhere you go, they're actually inspiring spectators. Ouch. The individual isn't doing that. An individual saying, I'm going to get a gold medal to make more people watch me? No. But interesting enough, the number of television views of the Olympics, of Men's World Cup, Women's World Cup, is unimaginably creating sedentary behavior because we've created more spectators than participants. So our job in society is not to say, I'm not saying don't watch the Olympics. I'm saying we have to have a balance of physical activity with that huge draw to watch that. It's a huge draw. So physical literacy, as you can tell, I'm a big fan of it. There's science behind it, and perhaps it's the missing link in making people active again. I think there's pretty good stories, some pretty good evidence to support that. I've shown you this one before. And what counts about this one is that every single person in this room needs to have an elevator speech. Is that a term you use in Swedish? Yeah? Yes? No? Elevator speech means if you have 9 floors and you get in the elevator with a politician, you've got 9 floors to explain to him why physical literacy is important. How long is that? 30 seconds? 40 seconds? You're at a barbecue with a superintendent of schools. You're at a barbecue with a principal. You're at the barbecue with the head of the Hockey Federation of Sweden. You need to convince them that this is important to you. What's your speech? What's your speech? This is one of mine. I got about 20 of them. Every Swede believes in reading and writing. I've said this to you before. You all do. 99% of people read and write in Sweden and 95% in Canada. Why? Because we spent 100 years pushing literacy. Is that good? Absolutely. And we believed, as I still believe, the more you can read and write, the more you can participate in this world, but not actively. Did all of our focus on literacy make people lazy? Absolutely not. It made us knowledgeable, but it didn't make us healthy. Reading and writing and science and math and art didn't make us healthy from a disease point of view. Maybe the missing piece is the fact that we didn't value physical literacy in the same way that we valued literacy. Because we want physical literacy to create us actively. So if you believe in that first sentence, this is simply a belief statement that says we should believe in physical literacy at the same level as literacy. I did this before, and you get all these slides, so I don't need to do them again to a degree. I want to get to core material. These are all good slides, which most of you have seen before. The Lego analogy is wonderful. This is the key one. It never hurts to see this slide many, many times. If you give people movement competence, and don't think that that means learning how to throw a baseball or throw a rugby ball or dribble a basketball. It means much more than that. It means the ability to walk on ice. I'll give you one. A little while ago, most Swedes wouldn't be wearing these. You'd be wearing flip-flops. Yeah? Is that what you say in Swedish? Flip-flop? Okay. You'd be wearing flip-flops. And if you were going up these stairs in flip-flops, you all know that you trip on your flip-flops. Am I right? Because it catches. So when you walk with flip-flops, you actually curl up your toes as you walk as opposed to, or curl them down very, very hard. Very different than when you walk in these. You actually walk entirely different with flip-flops on, the way in which your gait works, than if you have regular shoes on. And when I wear high heels at night, I walk even different again. I have a nice wig. I'm Dina, not Dean. But that made a point that walking in high heels is again different, isn't it? Why I'm saying that to you, that's a movement skill that's required. Isn't it? But did we have phys ed teachers teaching flip-flop walking? No, he didn't. You figure it out on your own because you have feedback. If you trip on the stairs, you go, oh, I better push down harder or curl out my toes more. You learned. Some people lost a couple of teeth, not many. Movement competence is more than just sport skills, it's life skills. Walking on ice. Confidence is very difficult to build in people, but is easy to get rid of. To destroy confidence in a person takes one sentence. And Louise talked a lot about the very important parts of psychology of physical literacy. And you're going to have to tell me when I need to shift to back. It's at 2? Okay. Because I'm taking a completely different tact today. Is okay, Ola? Okay. Confidence is really important. So when you guys are doing phys ed, recreation, sport, and even as a parent, what does it look like to develop confidence at the same time as competence? I've gotten pretty good at it with people, but it took practice. I didn't do it overnight. Grim, are you getting good at it? I'm improving. It's important to say, how do you actually do that? What does that look like? We're going to open up that curtain in a second. And behind there, I got a whole bunch of toys that are good for 3-year-olds to 112. And we're going to try to make you feel what that feels like. And then Louise this morning was really cool about giving you the drill down on motivation. And her and I had, I know self-determination theory. What I need you to understand, and I'm going to tell this to you, she was very, very good at storytelling and making you feel what good motivation is. But I'm going to be careful with this. One of my psychology students was just about to get her PhD, this is a real story, a PhD in self-determination theory. Pretty cool, right? And she was looking at how people make excuses for what they do and how it relates to motivation. Excuse giving. She was about to stand up to defend her thesis, very nervous, very good student, mind you, very nervous, and I stopped the proceedings. I said, hold it now. did you value doing this? Oh yeah, I really loved learning about motivation. I said, that's good. Did you do it because you loved it? Yeah, I really did. Oh, so you've acquired all the knowledge you need to do from this degree, from this process to help others? Yes. I said, well, why do we need this extrinsic thing called a PhD? And then she went, oh, you caught me. Oh, you don't need to graduate then. Why don't you just walk away? Oh, no. I'm going to get my PhD, which is an extrinsic factor. That wasn't intrinsic. That was drawing her like a carrot so she could get a job. So don't always, and Louise and I agree on this, don't always think that anything that's extrinsic is negative. It just has to be done well. It's a balance between extrinsic and intrinsic motivation that really drives us in life. And that's really complicated stuff, but very important. But if you get all that, there's data to show people do more. They do more different activities. Their psychology is different. They have a better brain. Watch this. Enjoyment and friendship are critical to create. And remember, enjoyment does not necessarily mean smiles. That's physical literacy in a nutshell. You'll notice it has psychological components, social behavioral components, and physical components. It is not fitness. And I'm going to be clear. I'm on a treadmill, watching my favorite show on TV. Treadmill beside me. There's my dog running beside me on my treadmill. There's my girlfriend. She's on her bike, watching the same TV show. We're exercising. We're getting fitter. Yeah? Cardiovascular fitness improving? Yeah. Burning off calories? Yeah. Social connection? Not really. I am very physically proficient on a treadmill. I am physically proficient on a treadmill. But I am physically literate because I do these other things. A person who exercises a lot on a single piece of equipment can be fit, but not physically literate. You got me on that? Is it great that you're doing exercise on a treadmill? Absolutely. But you're not physically literate. The magic is making people fit and physically literate. That's what circus people are, not just fit. And when you're fit and physically literate, you're durable. Mentally durable, physically durable, and socially durable. Does that make sense? Am I making you feel this a little bit more? That's good. Yay. Science. Isn't it wonderful? So that's Amanda. If you haven't Googled her yet, you need to Google, Swedish Google, Amanda Visick and download her fun maps. She is one of the she is the leading person in the world. She'll be here October 23rd, speaking in Sweden at the Exercise and Medicine Sports Science Conference. And she's working with Hockey Sweden to allow Hockey Sweden to make hockey more fun. Because we need to do that to keep more people in hockey. That's a good thing. That's true in Canada as well. You know how many people at 6 or 7 years old in hockey in Canada have kids doing 2-minute front planks like Grim was doing? A lot. 200 plus days of on ice. 200 plus days of on ice activity for 5-year-olds. Okay, if the kid really loves that, I'm good with that, but what else are they doing? If you like playing violin, go crazy, but just don't play violin only. So in the end of the day, look up Amanda's stuff. Look, there's the top 10 things in football, soccer, that kids tell us. The very first thing that the kids tell us is trying hard. That's what's fun to them. Trying hard, isn't that cool? Being a good sport. What's that mean? But makes sense. The third one is, if your coach is positive as opposed to negative, that's fun. Learning and improving, that's fun. Whether you're a young kid or an older kid, you know how she did this? It was an amazing study. She actually took kids, 100 plus kids, put them down in a room and said, write down what's fun. And you know what they did after that? They took all of those words, phrases, and they cut them. Sheets of paper. Do you practice Halloween here? Yeah? And you walk around from house to house getting candy? Yeah? You do that in Sweden? Okay, cool. Do you burn rams? No, that's Christmas. Sorry. You get your candy. What do kids do when they have all their candy? They put it on the table, right? And they sort it. Why I'm saying that to you is the kids wrote down what was positive and fun about sport. And you know what they did? They gave the sheets to a bunch of other kids. And then they sorted them. That means 2 minutes. So everybody else thought it was like, and now. 2 minutes. So what happened is they sorted all these things, and then they actually then sorted them into piles. See the piles? Game time support, games, mental bonuses, trying hard. They sorted all the answers into piles. And then they gave them to another set of kids and said, rank them. Which one of those is the most important? And the 3 that came out important, the most important are being a good sport with a whole bunch of things behind it, trying hard with a whole bunch of things behind it, and positive coaching. That makes sense to me. It wasn't so much games, it was what surrounds the games that was the most important part. You can download her stuff. So I finish. If you give kids movement skills, that's not giving them physical literacy. You must also make them have all of that other stuff. Comprehension. In Canada, this is hopping. This is jumping. This is leaping. If kids don't know the words of movement, that's comprehension, that's a problem. This is a plie, an arabesque. In the circus world, words matter. If you don't know how to do something, you kill somebody else, so you do the wrong thing. Confidence, motivation, enjoyment, key parts. Awareness. How far are you away from me? 1.7 meters. Throw something at me, I'll catch it. That's awareness. Selection. How do I get across this slippery surface? Oh, walk like this. I selected the movement. Modification. Going upstairs in flip-flops, going upstairs in runners. Sequencing. Put one thing together with another. Motor competence, getting good at it. Symmetry. I can do it on my right, I can do it on my left. Physical environments. Land, air, ice, snow, water. Social environments. In front of an audience, for an audience, with a partner. Social environments are as important. If you do all that, you get physical literacy. If you're physically literate, you can choose whatever activity you want. And if you participate because you're motivated, you get fit mentally, physically, and socially. If you're physically literate and you're fit, you're durable for life. That's the picture. It's a nice story, isn't it? It makes a lot more sense intrinsically and scientifically good. But we haven't been thinking this way before. So that's where we need to go. So now, do we get to do some physical activity? I can? So is there anybody up there who can press a button and make that curtain, that slide go away?
Just to give the signal.
Isn't that magical? And I bet you somebody soon is going to go like this on a rope and go, and then all of a sudden, oh, it's happening right now. Wow, that's neat. And I bet you somebody's going to, oh, there's some toys over there. See the toys in the back? Everybody see those toys? I like toys. Okay, everybody did this before, so I need 2 people. Quickly, can you 2 come along for a ride here? And here's 2 things. Grab that and grab that. Most of you have done this, but we're going to do it again, but we're going to go quickly. Oh, look at the pep talks going way to the back. See you guys later. For beer fika. Later. Okay, so everybody grab your sheet of paper in front of you. Many of you have done this before with me, but we're going to kick it up a notch. Grab your piece of paper. They already know the position. Isn't that great? Here we go. Everybody. Okay, now what's going to happen is, just sort of people who haven't been in a room, who haven't done this, why we do this is that this is a really good remembering way of seeing that cycle. You can remember a lot of things by doing this. We're going to do it my regular way in a second, but then we're going to do it with some actual juggling balls later on. And you're going to see something very interesting happening. So, ready? Put our hands, just in case people haven't seen this before. She's going to drop this into there. And I would say, don't do it. They know what's happening here. So, don't do it. Then you're going to throw that one up into that hand. Don't do it. Then it's going to go round and round and round. Don't do it. Why do I do that? Why is it so very important for me to say to those two people that I picked randomly out of the crowd, don't do it now? They're okay standing there like little frozen mannequins, because if I make them perform in front of you, they're going to be afraid of failure. And there's a huge audience effect here. And in some people, and I'd say many, if I make them move right now, I will apply a negative thing to them called social inhibition. They'll go, I don't want to do that. Later on in this thing that I do, I have everybody juggle in groups of 4. And then I say, hey, we're going to practice for 4 minutes. And then everybody's going to sit back down, and each one of the 4-person teams is going to come up and show the audience your juggling show. Ah, now you felt it. Oh, no, that ain't happening. Right? Not every one of you, but most of you felt that. Correct? Or at least you knew that that was true. That's also true right now. If you have to be very careful at making people, even if you cannot say to them, it's okay to fail in front of everybody. It's okay. You're going to feel good about it, because it doesn't matter what I say, it's what they think in their heads. Everybody good with that? Okay, good. So what we're going to do now is very quickly, you're going to find a partner with your ball, and everybody's going to come down here, not on the sides, and fill up this entire space and start the juggling. Go, go, go. That was different for you. I'll get it done. Quick, quick, quick. Come on down. Start your juggling. Sorry.
Det är bra. Tempo i trapporna. Tempo i trapporna.
Find a spot.
Här finns mycket plats kvar. Längst fram finns det plats. Det finns även plats längre in. Här har vi en utan. Alex upp med handen. Partner.
It's perfect. And pause. So those people have done this with me before. I pause here now because I'm now making people laugh quite loud and fail miserably. Because now you begin to see, and we don't know if this was a real throw-catch thing, I'd keep you going for a while because you'd get better. The laughter would increase, and you're failing miserably, and you might be beginning to say, I'm getting better at this. So then you're going to see that success comes from failures, and you're laughing. Everybody good with why I stop at that point? That illustrates something that's really important in lesson planning and recreation, physical education, and sport. We're going to continue doing this, but everybody that's sitting down, you're going to stay sitting down, and now the people that are standing, you're going to find a new partner. Ready? Go. Find a new partner and start up the juggling. Quick, 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 quick. Quick, 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 quick. And start it up. Go, 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 go. Juggle away, juggle away. And pause. So why, and already I'm liking this. I'm liking this a lot because already on this second pass, when I interrupted you, there are some faces that are going, I really like this, stop interrupting. That's a good sign. Second, I actually just videotaped you to send back to my friend and saying, the person just texted me, hey, what are you doing? And I said, hey, I'm just in the middle of something, don't worry. But why I say that way is that if you showed that video to an 8-year-old audience, 8-year-old people, they would kind of go like, there's something wrong with you. Adults having fun and moving, and it's boy, girl, boy, everything. We need to illustrate that. That's role modeling. We have as much enjoyment with moving as children do. That's a role model. Being fit, limited role model. Being a person who wishes to do activity and have enjoyment from it is massive. Okay, we continue on again. I changed your social context by changing the person. You're feeling comfortable. I didn't make you go, hi, I'm Dean, hi, I'm so-and-so. You made a connection through movement. I didn't need to have an introduction. You learn about the person through moving with them. And you're negotiating differently with them too because different heights, different sizes, how do you time it? All these different things. So a lot of good things are happening there. We're going to do it one more time. The person who's sitting is going to go stand. The person who's standing is going to go sitting. Ready, go? And quickly, the point about that is that the person who's been on top has been on top as we change people and now is experiencing what it's like to be on bottom and reverse. And it is a completely different experience of throw catch. Relevant, right? Very little change, contextually different physically. It's not just land, air, ice, snow, water. It's a different context. And so in the end of the day, learning that it's different on top and on bottom is a very important thing in terms of movement. There's also innuendo there, which I just realized, so I'm not going to talk about that. So anyway, what we're going to do next is very fast. You're going to do 5 juggles this way, and then 5 juggles the other way. You got me? As best you can. Then what you're going to do, without me telling you, you're going to again walk over the table as soon as you get a good 10 or so in, and see the juggling balls over there? You're going to drop the piece of paper underneath that table so you don't clean it up after. Grab a juggling ball and come back and immediately do 5 and 5. Okay? So 5 and 5 with the paper, then immediately get a juggling ball, each, one each, and go. Ready, go. I'm still good, right? Oh. No, it's fine. And pause. Okay, wonderful. Here's what's going to happen. Everybody stand up. Everybody stand. Here's what I'm going to ask you. And be honest, don't mimic. If it was way easier with the juggling balls than the paper, what I want you to do is sit down. Okay, that's good. There's no right or wrong answer. Okay, good. But just everybody look around now. Watch what I just did. I could add you juggle it way more with those pieces of paper, which are actually hard to throw because they're not uniform in mass. Wind resistant actually influences their trajectory. These are much more predictable objects. By doing this in a lesson plan without even you knowing it, almost everybody in this room would realize that their competency progressed without even realizing it. Therefore, I was instilling confidence. Do you see the trick I just did? And then, as a teacher, I have to realize that this one method of delivering competence and confidence at the same time didn't work for everybody. I need to find another method and another method and another method. Do you follow me on this? Did I destroy? I would never do this in a classroom setting like I'm doing now, but for you to illustrate the point, I would. But realize that not all lesson plans are uniformly going to get 100% of the people. They're only going to get, so you got to go over and over and over again. Did I hurt anybody here by this? No. I would continue on with the lesson. Now everybody stand up. And what you're going to do, because I work in the circus industry, and now that you have a real juggling ball, we actually are going to create a juggling show. Create a group of 4 and make a juggling show. There's another pair out there, I'm sure. I have 2 over here, 2 over here. Are you good? You're good? Everybody good? 2 good? Okay, you're over here with me. Come on over here. Oh, yeah. 3. Go 3. Yeah. Oh, darn. Oh, my goodness. I've made a tragic mistake. I'm sorry. Hang on, guys. I'm really sorry. I made a big mistake. I needed to give you something. I hereby give you permission to be creative. Everybody in here is in a rectangle. You could be in a line. Somebody could be moving. Somebody could be doing anything else. You could be singing while you're doing it. Please be creative. I give you permission. Go ahead. One quick pause. Hey, I know this is your show. Ownership is everything. You're in creativity mode now. I can tell. Good laughter level. Ownership of the creativity is yours. It's your show. I'm going to add something. 2 people in the room, or 2 people of your group have to, every time they throw, have to spin. 2 people of 4. Ready, go, or 3? Go for it. And after they do this, I'm going to do my wrap. After they do this, I'm going to do my wrap up. Am I okay? Yeah. Wonderful. Folks, amazing. I hate stopping you. Isn't it great when people are being active and don't want to be stopped? It's like, let's continue on. This illustrates a lot about the cycle. Was there social connection here? Yes. Was there fun? Yes. Was there competence increases? Yes, in a whole bunch of different ways. Was there confidence? Almost guaranteed. Motivation to participate? Yes, based on it's fun. You didn't even want me to stop you. You got me on that? Was there creativity involved? Yes. So that cycle I just illustrated to you. Was I socially inhibiting anybody? Not really. This would be inappropriate, and I said this in the beginning, if I said practice your juggling show for 4 minutes now, and then I had everybody sit down and called each group down, that would be socially inhibiting at least 30% of you, which would be a scar that would be left on you for a long time. Quality physical literacy experiences never do that. Words matter as much as the movement. So for us, this throw-catch experience illustrates a lot of things that we showed in that cycle that you can take home with you. Makes you feel it. It's also a great way to actually practice with another group. The larger the group, the better actually, but it's a very powerful effect for people. It brings back joy of movement. I added a spin, I could have added a fitness component. The last thing I'll say, fitness component where you all had to squat each time you threw. Then I'd be getting fitness at the same time as physical literacy. Pretty cool, huh? Well, I want to thank you very, very much for your attention on this. And I think the goal now, Ola, is to have a seat again.
No, you can be right here.
Oh.
Thank you so much, Dean. Please join me in giving Dean some love.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you.